Hello everyone, this is Brandon and I'm the blind fish keeper. Today I'm going to try and do a little bit of aquarium maintenance from the blind perspective. Now I don't have anyone here to film for me, so I'm gonna film, do a little talking, and then do a little cleaning and come back and do a little more talking, so bear with me. As far as water changes go, I do things pretty basically. Most of my tanks I don't mess with siphoning at all. I just change water, clean sponges, and refill. Even on tanks like this being the African cichlid tank, I won't mess with the bottom. I just think that leaving it alone more so than disturbing it keeps a balance better, at least in the way that I manage my tanks. Being blind, I stick to a water change schedule. I don't go off of like purely off of tests. Although I do test the water quite regularly. Not being able to see the aquarium, I feel more secure, and it seems to do just fine for me that I keep a schedule for my water changes. It keeps my water clean, it keeps my nitrates down, no ammonia, no nitrites. And for my non-planted tanks, that means 2 water changes a week, especially with this African tank, which is pretty heavily stocked. And as you can see, I do have some buckets on the floor here. I've got a pond in the back that has a leak, so being that I water change frequently and my water is not usually in bad shape, I take some of my used tank water and top off my pond with the water change water. It keeps my plants happy and fed, the ones that are in the pond, and you know, it in my mind feels like I'm not wasting as much. So first thing I'm gonna do is suction out some water into the buckets and carry those out and put that water in the pond, and I will be back. That took a few minutes. I actually took 6 buckets of water out to the pond. It is very low today. So I usually do 50% twice a week on this aquarium. And my next step is I have hooked up the Python water changer, and it is currently draining. So I'll just let that drain for a bit until it feels like roughly 50%, according to my sensibilities. And while that's going on, I will take the sponges, well, the pre-filter sponges, off of my canister and off of the AquaClear 110 and clean those. And I will be right back. Right, so that's about how much water I take out. Roughly 50%. I've cleaned the sponges and put those back on, and I have changed out the siphon for the hook on my Python. That thing is really awesome. It just hooks right over the edge, and turn the water on and forget about it. You don't have to hold the siphon in place. So now the next thing I'm gonna do is treat the water as it, I do it as the tank is filling up, and I use Chem Safe for my water purifier. And this is the only tank that I alter in any way. Being that they are African cichlids, I do add some lake salts and some remineralizer, trace minerals, to the water. And those products are the Chem lake salts. This is a 150-gallon tank, and with the lake salts, I do not do a full dose. With every water change, I do, since I pull out about half the water, I do about a half dose to replace what I've taken out. That keeps the pH somewhere between 7.8 and 8, which these guys are just fine with. I also use, for the trace minerals, Kent trace minerals, and that is also about a half dose for a half, for a 50% water change. And the guys like it. So I'm gonna get to refilling the tank, and I will be right back. All right. Water change is complete. Maintenance done. So a little recap real quick. Water changing and maintenance is a little different for me as a blind person. So my first step is to gather everything that I need or will need for the water change and bring it to the aquarium that I'm working on. Once water is leaving the tank or being pumped back into the tank, I do not leave the aquarium. When tops are off or open, I can't see if a fish gets spooked and jumps, so I have to be close enough to hear it. Also, if there is a leak in my siphon, bad connection, I have to be able to hear that as well. So I don't leave. And in the 5 years that I've been blind, luckily, knock on wood, I have not flooded a floor or overflown a tank or had too big of a mess. So that works for me. My filter maintenances are, I guess, a little controversial. Most every filter I have has nothing but sponge in it, and whether it is a pre-filter sponge or the actual sponge in the filter, I take it straight to the sink or the bathtub and squeeze it out in tap water. I know that's supposedly a big no-no, but I have not had a single issue with spikes in ammonia or nitrites due to cleaning my sponges the way I clean them. The fish stay happy and healthy. The tank stays happy and healthy. So I know that's kind of a a taboo in our fish keeping world, but for me, I've never had an issue with it as of yet, and I will continue to keep doing it the way that I do it until something shows me that I should rethink something. I didn't scrape the glass this time, so I apologize if there is algae on the glass. As you guys can probably figure, since I don't look at the fish physically, the algae on the glass kind of slips my mind a lot. I do try and clean the glass for videos, but I did not clean the glass this time. So anyway, the fish are happy, healthy, and active. This is my procedure. So as I said, I do a water change twice a week of about 50%. I stock heavy and I feed heavy in this tank, and you know, whether the tests tell me that it needs it or not, I err on the side of caution since I can't physically see what's going on in my tanks, and I go on and do the water change. And my fish's colors are good. My fish's health, except for when they get into battles, is really good. They're happy and moving around, so it works. Anyway, guys, if you have any questions or about anything, the stocking in the tank or any of the procedures that I may have missed, or you have a question about, leave it down in the comments and I will be more than happy to answer those for you. If you haven't already, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. And if you really like it, share it out to someone. Anyway, this has been a look at how I do some of my maintenance as a blind person. And that's going to do it for me this time. So I will catch you in the next one.